Hospital porters' pride and dignity stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV on VidMe. I like happiness, I like optimism, but today this is not going to be an optimistic video because the people of France have just committed national suicide, and this is going to be a sad video for that reason. They threw away the opportunity for freedom for their country and for their people because they had a chance to elect their very own Donald Trump, a maverick anti-establishment patriot called Marine Le Pen, and instead they chose this ex-Rothschild's banker, this globalist, Europhile, smooth-talking, suited, slimy little dandy called Emmanuel Macron. A man who married a school teacher, a woman who looks a bit like an anorexic Joan Rivers, and is probably gay. He acts gay. I mean, as I said, well, all French men act gay, don't they? And they're all a bit gay, but he really is gay, and he won't say so openly. And they willingly chose him. I mean, I made a video on YouTube about this 2 weeks ago, and after the first round, and Le Pen got through, and I said that they were going to try and rig it against Le Pen because the establishment was completely behind Macron. But really, his victory was a landslide. It was 66% to 34%. I mean, I don't think a margin that big could be manipulated. I don't believe a margin that big could be created entirely by fraud. And Madame Le Pen acted with enormous dignity. She congratulated her rival in a live speech, and she also said, "The French people have chosen continuity." And this is very interesting that she said that. It's actually a veiled insult, because she knows very well the whole point of her campaign was that continuity is the last thing France needs right now. Continuity is their problem. It's a central issue of the nation and most nations on earth. And of course, Macron was there, Hillary Clinton. The establishment was completely behind her. Only this time, sadly, they succeeded. They won. The last time they lost. If Marine Le Pen had won, she would have become France's first woman president. In fact, the first female ruler France had had since 1793, when Queen Marie Antoinette got her head cut off. Now, during the presidential election, this mantra was repeated every time Hillary Clinton was described. First woman president! First woman president! It became a cliche. I've never heard it once said on the BBC or any other mainstream media outlet when describing Marine Le Pen. Not once have I heard the phrase first woman president. The thing is, if she had won, she would have been France's first woman president, and that is as factual a statement as the one that refers to Hillary Clinton. So why don't we hear it from the BBC? What happened to "I'm with her"? That doesn't quite ring true this time, does it? And of course the feminists are all behind Macron, aren't they? Dear me, you can depend on the feminists to ditch women when they're the wrong kind of woman and support the establishment candidate. Macron has made no doubt about what his agenda is. He did his first presidential speech, and behind him were two flags, the French tricolore and the EU flag. This biumvirate, you could call it, which he is loyal to. Only I noticed that the EU flag was on top. Those 12 stars on blue are never far away from Macron. In all his campaigns you get people waving them. Those 12 gold stars, the symbol of the hated continental oppressor, which he represents. I'm sure there's a Kalergi prize coming his way. So it looks like the empire has struck back, and it's done it several times. It's retaken Austria, it's retaken the Netherlands, but France is different. To me, the loss of France is more significant because France is one of the proudest nations on earth. They've always been naturally independent. They've always had their own spirit. I mean, I've been to France a couple of times. Their culture is very, very different from Britain, and they're proud of it. They like it. They like the fact they're different. They've got a large military. They've always known that they need the necessity for defending their homeland. They have their own independent nuclear deterrent, more independent than Britain's, because Britain's was actually developed with the help of the Americans. France developed theirs without American help. I don't think the Americans would ever have helped France get their own nuclear deterrent, because France was such a loose cannon in the Cold War. You never knew exactly what side they were on. They had this very on-off relationship with NATO. They were in NATO for a while, then they left for a long, long time. Then they came back for a while, then I think they left again. They're not currently in NATO, I don't think. And France has a powerful communist party, always has had. And an accepted intellectual middle-class far right. In the famous book by Peter Wright, Spycatcher, which the UK government tried to ban, I read that thinking to myself, well, if you have a guess, an MI5 agent, he was an MI5 officer, who would he spend most of his time spying on? And he'd say, well, the Russians, the Soviet Union. No, he spent most of his time spying on the French. Oh yeah, the Western governments were very concerned about the French, about France, where it would go. They couldn't not part of the club, very much occupying that centre ground in the Cold War. But although this is a sad video, hope is not lost. Macron has 5 years in office, just 5. Then he can be challenged again, hopefully by Le Pen. She can come back. She's young for a politician, she's energetic. Not like Macron. Macron's 39. I mean, in political terms, Macron is a little boy. 39. It's nothing. But there's a downside. Macron is going to use these 5 years. The establishment are going to use Macron during the next 5 years to cement their rule over France and create a monopoly. They cannot be unseated through the ballot box. Now, centrists, establishment centrists, they know they can't. They have no dream. They have no argument. They have no persuasive vision to persuade people to vote for them. So all they can do is either persuade them that they're to vote for them out of fear, or find some other dirty trick because they're so mind-numbingly boring. So Macron's not going to win lasting, dedicated supporters among the French people. So instead, he's going to import them. Immigration to France is going to increase enormously. We can expect, I think someone's estimated up to 6 million people could enter the country before 2022, when the next election is. That's almost the equivalent of the entire population of Paris. We can expect more terrorist attacks in France, both real ones and false flags. I mean, Macron has addressed this issue of terrorism, and he just shrugged and said, it is a part of daily life in France now. I'm afraid we have to put up with it. It's just... So when Le Pen takes him on again in 2022, or whoever does, they're going to have a much steeper hill to climb than they did this time. Could it be too late, I wonder? That's... In my talk when I went to Manchester and I did my talk on YouTube, I did worry about this. I've read this book recently. It's called The Partisan by someone called Fenech Soler. Now I listened to an interview with the author, and even though he's got such a very French name, the moment he started speaking and I heard his voice, I realised he comes from South Wales. But it's a book about France in the near future. It's a country which has descended into civil war. Could it be true? I mean, in my YouTube video I did fear, I said I feared that this 2017 election was the last chance to save France from total Illuminati occupation by peaceful means. I really would like, I think it would be very, very pleasant. It would be much better if France can transition to freedom in a civilized manner and diplomatic way, without bloodshed. We won't know for 5 years, but is it possible? It could be too late by then. Because if it's not possible, then what can we do? We won't have many options left on the table. We can fight, or we can be exterminated, because that is what the Illuminati have planned for us. Now, Au revoir la France is the title of this film. It means goodbye France. But in the French language has several different translations for goodbye. Au revoir indicates a temporary condition. You say au revoir to someone you expect to see again soon, as opposed to adieu, which is more permanent. So I'm not going to say adieu France, I'm going to say au revoir la France. So I do hold on to hope. I do. Maybe 2016 is not over yet. Thank you for watching Panwo TV on VidMe. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.